Simple permanent tissues are made up of only one type of cells. All the cells are of similar type. Fibers in association with xylem are called xylem fibers. Xylem or wood conducts water from downwards to upwards, whereas phloem conducts food from upwards to downwards. Why? Hello everyone. Welcome back to session 1 of this interesting chapter called Anatomy of Flowering Plants. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College. Hope you remember one chapter you all have studied that is called Morphology of Flowering Plants. In a similar way, we are going to study about the anatomy of flowering plants. I hope you remember in my last session, as you have come across, anatomy deals with the study of internal structure. And study of internal structure or the anatomical features is called histology. Plant histology deals with the study of the internal structure of plants, and animal histology deals with the study of internal structure of animals. Right? Hope you remember in my last session, we studied about the classification of plant tissues, where the plant tissues have been broadly classified into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. So we already learnt about meristematic tissue, then we learnt about permanent tissue, and the permanent tissue is again broadly classified into simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Hope you remember we have studied about the simple permanent tissues, that is parenchyma, then the modified parenchyma, then collenchyma, then sclerenchyma. Hope you remember we have studied about the different types of plant tissues. Moving on to the next concept, that is the next classification of plant tissues, that is complex permanent tissue. Hope you remember that the plant tissues have been broadly classified into simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. What is the reason? Why do we call them as simple permanent tissues, and why do we call the second type as complex permanent tissues? Simple permanent tissues are made up of only one type of cells. All the cells are of similar type, whereas hence the name simple permanent tissues, where we come across parenchyma, which is a food storage tissue, and other than food storing, it gets itself modified like chlorenchyma, then prosenchyma, aerenchyma, then moving on to collenchyma, which is a living mechanical tissue, then sclerenchyma, which is a dead mechanical tissue, where we studied about two types of sclerenchyma, that is fibers and sclerates. So all the cells are of similar type, whereas the word complex permanent tissue means the permanent tissue is made up of this more than one type of cells. It is made up of more than one type of cells. Here you can see the xylem, right? Now, let us understand what is complex permanent tissue. Tissue made up of different types of cells is called complex permanent tissue. As I said, why it is called complex permanent tissue? Namely, xylem and phloem are called complex permanent tissues, and the tissue is made up of different types of cells. Hence, it is called complex permanent tissue. In this tissue, more than one type of cells work together as a unit. So here all the similar cells perform, and they have a specific function to perform. Here all the cell elements, they can also be called as elements. They can be called as cell types or elements. All these put together, they work as a unit. Hence, it is heterogeneous in nature. In simple permanent tissue, it is homogeneous in nature. All the cells are of similar type. Here, the cells are of different type. Hence, the name complex. So, they are heterogeneous in nature. Xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissues in plants. So, what are the two very important complex permanent tissues? One is xylem. Xylem is a water conducting tissue. Xylem is also called as wood, and phloem is a food conducting tissue which is also called as bast. These two are the conducting tissues. What do you mean by conducting tissue? Transporting tissues. They are also called as vascular tissues. Namely, xylem and phloem are called as vascular tissues. Are they otherwise called as conducting tissues? They are otherwise called as transporting tissues, where xylem is mainly involved in the conduction or transportation of water from downwards to upwards, whereas phloem or bast is mainly involved in conduction of food from upwards to downwards. So they together they are called as complex permanent tissues. So what is a complex permanent tissue? The tissue is made up of different types of cells, hence the name complex permanent tissue. So in this tissue, more than one type of cells work together as a unit. Hence, it is heterogeneous in nature. What are the two very important types of complex permanent tissue? One is called xylem, which is a water conducting tissue. The other one is called phloem, which is a food conducting tissue. They are together called as what? Vascular tissues. And plants having xylem and phloem are called vascular plants. Now we'll move on to the first very important type of complex permanent tissue, that is xylem. As I said, xylem is also called as wood. What is xylem then? It is a conducting tissue, helps in conducting water and minerals from roots to the stem and leaves. Here the cells of xylem are lignified. It has to conduct water to such greater heights. What is the support that is given to it? It is by the lignified cell walls. So it is a conducting tissue. It is a water conducting tissue, helps in conducting water and minerals from roots to stem. As we know, we water to the soil. So soil absorbs water and dissolve mineral solids, and that has to be transported from downwards to upwards. So what is xylem? Otherwise called wood, and it is a water conducting tissue which conducts or transports water from downwards to upwards. Here you can see the first form xylem is called protoxylem, and the later form xylem is called as metaxylem. So this is how it looks when we take the transverse section of a dicot stem or a dicot root or a monocot stem or a monocot root. You can see the vascular bundles like this. So this is and this is phloem. This is phloem. So in a vascular bundle, always, what do you mean by vascular bundle? When xylem and phloem is together, it is called as vascular bundle. And usually phloem will be above and xylem will be below. And the first form xylem is called the protoxylem, and the later form xylem is called metaxylem. Usually the protoxylem is smaller in size and the metaxylem is bigger in size. Moving on to the elements of xylem. As I said, xylem is made up of more than one type of cells. So what are the cell? You can also use them. Use the word called cell types. So what are the cell types of xylem? Cell types of xylem are tracheids, trachea, xylem parenchyma, and xylem sclerenchyma. These are the four very important elements of xylem. Namely, elements of xylem are that is tracheids and trachea. Tracheids and trachea together they are called as tertiary elements. They are called as tertiary because they are also called as conducting elements. Why they are called as conducting elements? These are the ones which is going to transport water and dissolve mineral solids from downwards to upwards, and hence it is. So for example, if you ask who is more efficient in conduction than tracheids, it is trachea. Compared to tracheids, trachea is more efficient in conduction of water to greater heights. So among the four xylem elements are tracheids, trachea, xylem parenchyma, and xylem sclerenchyma. So among the four elements, only xylem parenchyma is living, remaining are dead. Here you can see only the living tissue in xylem is the xylem parenchyma. So among the four, which is a conducting element, tracheids and trachea, they together are called as what? Tertiary elements. They are otherwise called also as conducting elements. Among the two, who is more efficient in conducting? Is it trachea or is it tracheids? Or trachea are also called as vessels. Trachea is also called as vessels. So they are more efficient in conduction. These are the types of the xylem elements based on the lignification, right? Now, tracheids. Now let us study about tracheids first. They are elongated imperforate tertiary elements. So here you can see the tracheids, longer, thinner ends, tapers. Then in many non-flowering plants, the only cell type is xylem. So here, what is the anatomical feature of trachid then? They are elongated imperforate tertiary elements. These are the elongated cells having tapering ends. They will have, what do you mean by tapering ends? Pointed ends. Tapering also means pointed ends. So they are elongated imperforate tertiary elements. These are the elongated cells having tapering ends. Next, very important anatomical feature is the end walls having pits. Here you can see the end walls will have pits through which conduction of water will take place. What do you mean by pits? Small holes. So the end walls having pits through which conduction of water will take place. And here the cells are highly lignified. What do you mean by lignification? Deposition of an additional substance called lignin over the primary cell wall called cellulose. Cellulose is called lignification, and it is because of this lignified cell wall it can conduct water to such greater heights without any hindrance, and that is what we find. The cells are highly lignified, hence they are mechanical support. Hence they give what? Mechanical support. Imagine, like for example, you might have come across eucalyptus tree, coconut tree, sequoia. So the tallest tree is sequoia. Imagine, so to such greater height, the water is conducted. What is that which gives mechanical support to conduct water to such greater heights without any hindrance? It is the highly lignified cells. Then the tracheids are found in pteridophytes and gymnosperms, but found in primitive angiosperms. So their tracheids are found, as I said, trachea is more efficient in conduction than tracheids. So tracheids are found in pteridophytes and gymnosperms, but found in primitive angiosperms like champak, Michaelia champaka. So what are tracheids? They are elongated imperforate tertiary elements. These are the elongated cells having tapering ends, the end walls having pits through which conduction of water takes place. The cells are highly lignified, hence they give mechanical support. The tracheids are found in pteridophytes and gymnosperms, but found in primitive angiosperms. Now, based on the lignification, tracheids are classified into 5 types. As I said, based on the types of lignification, tracheids are classified into 5 types. What are they? Annular, spiral, scleriform, reticulate, pitted. So, annular means ring-like. Spiral, spring-like. Scleriform, that is ladder-like. Ladder-like. Reticulate, network-like. Network-like. Pitted, pits, small pits. So, based on the lignification, tracheids are classified into 5 types. What are they? Annular, spiral, scleriform, reticulate, pitted. Here you can see the first one, annular. So they are arranged in the form of rings. Spiral, here you can see they are arranged in the form of spiral. Scleriform, ladder-like. Here scleriform you can see ladder-like. Right? Reticulate, actually this is reticulate in the form of network. Then this is reticulate in the form of network it should be. Then bordered pit. So simple pits and bordered pits. So this is simple pit and this is called bordered pit. So based on lignification, tracheids are classified into 5 types. That is annular. Here you can see the annular, ring-like. Then spiral. That is we can find, spiral like this. Spiral. Then scleriform, ladder-like. Then reticulate in the form of network. In the form of network. Then this is called simple pits. And this is called the bordered pit. There is an overarch over the simple pit. So if there is an overarch, this is called as a bordered pit. Bordered pit. So based on lignification, that has been broadly classified into 1, 2, 3, 4 types. What are the 5 types? 5 types: annular, spiral, scleriform, reticulate and pitted. Moving on to trachea. As I said, trachea is also called as what? Vessels. So when compared to tracheids, who is more efficient in conduction? Trachea. So they are dead, as I said. All the elements are dead except for xylem parenchyma. So they are dead thick wall tertiary elements. As I said, tracheids and trachea put together are called as tertiary elements formed from a longitudinal series of cells with perforated end walls. So here we can find that there are perforated end walls. So these perforations will enable the passing of the water and the dissolved mineral solids from one cell to another. So the cells are larger than tracheids. So the first very important reason why trachea is more efficient in conduction of water than trachea is trachea is more efficient in conduction because the cells are larger than tracheids and the end walls are perforated through which ascent of sap takes place. What is ascent of sap? Ascent of sap. Upward movement of water is called ascent of sap. Sap is the contents of the cell is called as sap. So the end walls are perforated through which ascent of sap takes place. The walls are highly lignified, hence they can also give mechanical support. So as I said, based on even in trachea also you come across, there are also 5 types of trachea based on the lignification. The trachea are exclusively present in angiosperms. As we know, 3/4 of the plants that are existing on the planet Earth are angiosperms. And also in Neem, which is an angiosperm, which is a gymnosperm. Neem, which is a gymnosperm. So what is trachea? They are dead, thick-walled tertiary elements formed from a longitudinal series of cells with perforated walls. The cells are larger than tracheids. The end walls are perforated through which ascent of sap takes place. The walls are highly lignified, hence they can also give mechanical support. The trachea are exclusively present in angiosperms and also in Neem, which is a gymnosperm. So here based on the lignification, same as I said, annular, spiral, scleriform, reticulate, pitted. Annular, same, ring-like, spring-like, ladder-like, then network in the form of network, then pitted. So same based on the lignification, trachea is also classified into 5 types. Then let us understand the difference between tracheids and trachea. Tracheids, and this is trachea. Primitive, they are advanced. Fusiform in shape, they are cylindrical. Longer, these are shorter. Narrow lumen. What do you mean by lumen? Space. Space, inside space will be here narrow. There it is wider. More wider, more will be the conduction of water. So here it is narrow lumen, here it is wider lumen. So angular in transverse section, circular in transverse section. End wall is tapering and non-perforated. Here end wall is open and perforated. Perforated means it is having pits like this, small pores. It is perforated. Then less thickened wall, more thickened wall. So it is more efficient in conduction than tracheids. Less efficient in conduction, more efficient in conduction. Present in pteridophyte gymnosperms and primitive angiosperms, present exclusively in angiosperms. Hope you have understood the difference between the tracheids and trachea. I repeat once again, tracheids, they are primitive, advanced, fusiform in shape, cylindrical in shape, longer in size, shorter, then narrow lumen, wider lumen, then angular in transverse section, circular in transverse section, end wall is tapering and non-perforated, end wall is open and perforated, less thickened wall, more thickened wall, less efficient in conduction, more efficient in conduction, present in pteridophyte gymnosperms and primitive angiosperms, present exclusively in angiosperm. So this is all about xylem, which is a very important conducting tissue, or it is a water conducting tissue. Now let us study about phloem. Phloem is another complex permanent tissue which is otherwise called BAS, which is a food conducting tissue. Moving on to xylem parenchyma, as we said, the parenchyma cells associated with xylem is called xylem parenchyma. Here you can see. So xylem in association with parenchyma is called xylem parenchyma. So here These are the parenchyma cells associated with xylem. They help in conduction of water to neighboring cells. Xylem parenchyma is also known as wood parenchyma. So some of the parenchyma cells produce a balloon-like outgrowth into the lumen of trachea called tylosis, which interfere in ascent of sap. So here you can see like balloon-like, these are called tyloses. So what are tyloses? Some of the parenchyma cells produce a balloon-like outgrowth into the lumen. This is called lumen. Lumen is nothing but the empty space. It is the empty space. So some of the parenchyma cells produce a balloon-like outgrowth into the lumen of trachea called tylosis, which interfere in ascent of sap. So what is xylem parenchyma? These are the parenchyma cells associated with the xylem. They help in conduction of water to neighboring cells. Xylem parenchyma is also known as wood parenchyma. Some of the parenchyma cells produce a balloon-like outgrowth into the lumen of trachea called tylosis, which interfere in ascent of cells. So they're going to disturb. So the ascent of sap, the upward liftment of water will be affected. So what is fibers? Xylem fibers are fibers in association with xylem are called xylem fibers. They're also called as wood fibers or xylem fibers. Their very job is to give mechanical support. Moving on to the next very important concept, next complex permanent tissue, that is phloem. As I said, phloem is also called as bast or leptome. So you can see in this beautiful picture, it is a complex permanent tissue which helps in transportation of food. It is a food conducting tissue. Xylem is a water conducting tissue, whereas phloem is a food conducting tissue. As we all know that xylem or wood conducts water from downwards to upwards, whereas phloem conducts food from upwards to downwards. Why? Where is the food prepared? It is prepared in the leaves. So leaves are found in the topmost region of the plant body, shoot region. Hence it is called as a food conducting tissue. And it is also just like xylem, it is also composed of 4 elements or 4 cell types, as it is also a type of complex permanent tissue. The very unique feature of complex permanent tissue is what? It is made up of more than one type of cells. So namely the sieve elements, that is sieve elements, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Sieve elements comprises of sieve cells and sieve tubes. Sieve tube and companion cell. So sieve cells, sieve tube and companions. These two together, they are called as sieve elements. Just like there, sieve means what? That which we use for filtering, right? It is called as sieve. Like for example, like we filter coffee, tea. So that is called as a sieve, right? Which is porous. So here, sieve cells, sieve tubes and companion cell put together, they are called as sieve elements. They are also called as conducting elements. And parenchyma in association with phloem is called phloem parenchyma, and fibers in association with phloem is called phloem fibers. So even these are not living cells. These are the dead cells. These are the dead cells. So what is phloem or bast? Here we can see sieve pore, sieve tube element, phloem parenchyma and the companion cell. See among the 2 conducting elements, so these 2 are called as the conducting elements. These 2 are called as the conducting elements. So among the 2, if we ask who is more efficient in conduction, it is a sieve tube and the companion cell. For example, in xylem, it is trachea. Trachea is more efficient in conducting water. In a similar way here, sieve tube and companion cell is more efficient in conduction of water, right? Sieve tube and companion cells are more efficient in conducting food. Now sieve elements, it consists of sieve cells and sieve tube. Here you can see the sieve plate, companion cell, parenchyma cells. Here you can see the sieve tube. Here we can see the sieve plate. So this is how it looks. So sieve elements, it consists of sieve cells and sieve tubes. Sieve cells. What are sieve cells? Sieve cells are very primitive nature and found in pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Sieve cells are not associated with companion cells. Only the sieve tube is associated with companion cells. But sieve tube and sieve tubes and companion cells are called as sister cells. So sieve tube cannot function with companion cell, and companion cell cannot function with sieve tube. So what is sieve tube then? It is an elongated element comprising of several enucleate living cells and are interconnected via the sieve plates, right? So here what are sieve tubes? It is an elongated element comprising of several enucleate living cells which are interconnected via the sieve plates. Then sieve tubes are the advanced structures found in angiosperms. Sieve tubes are the elongated cells without the nucleus, hence they are enucleated cell. Sieve tube is the only living cell which can function without a nucleus. It is enucleated, hence it may be also called as a living cell, but as I said, it is mainly involved in conduction. We use the word called dead cell. But the sieve tube is the only living cell which can function without a nucleus. It is enucleated but technically alive. Between two sieve tubes, there is a perforated sieve plate consisting of sieve pores. During winter, these sieve pores are covered by callose pad. Callose is a polymer of glucose. So during winter, the less conduction of food. So in that case, the sieve plate which contains sieve pores is covered by callose pad. Then the cytoplasm of one sieve tube is interconnected with cytoplasm of another sieve tube by passing through sieve plates. Such cytoplasmic connections are called transcellular cytoplasmic strands. So what is the structure of these sieve tubes? Sieve tubes are the advanced structures found in angiosperms. Sieve tubes are the elongated cells without the nucleus, hence they are nucleated, enucleated cell. Sieve tube is the only living cell which can function without a nucleus. It is enucleated but technically alive. Between two sieve tubes, there is a perforated sieve plate consisting of sieve pores. During winter, these sieve pores are covered by callose pad. Then the cytoplasm of one sieve tube is connected with cytoplasm of another sieve tube by passing through sieve plates. Such cytoplasmic connections are called as transcellular cytoplasmic strands. So what is companion cell then? They are the living nucleated specialized parenchymatous cells found associated with sieve tube. So they are always found with the sieve tube. Each sieve tube is associated with a companion cell because both the sieve tube and companion cell are derived from a single mother cell. So they are called as what? Sister cells. Hence, enucleated sieve tube sustained with the nucleus of companion cell. The cytoplasmic connection between the sieve tube and the companion cell is called plasmodesmata. So what are companion cells? They are the living nucleated specialized parenchymatous cells found associated with sieve tube, and each sieve tube is associated with a companion cell because both the sieve tube and companion cell are derived from a single mother cell, hence they are called as sister cells. Hence, enucleated sieve tube sustained with the nucleus of a companion cell. The cytoplasmic connection between sieve tube and the companion cell is called as what? Plasmodesmata. Next, moving on to phloem parenchyma. Parenchyma in association with phloem is called phloem parenchyma. Just like in xylem, xylem parenchyma. Parenchyma in association with xylem is called xylem parenchyma. Here, parenchyma in association with xylem is called phloem parenchyma. These are the parenchyma cells associated with phloem. They help in translocation of food to the neighboring cells. Phloem fibers, same like fibers in association with phloem. So these are sclerenchyma fibers associated with phloem, which gives protection to other elements. These fibers are also called as phloem fibers, right? Hope you have understood about the complex permanent tissues, namely xylem and phloem. These are two very important complex permanent tissues, namely xylem, which is made up of four elements called tracheids, trachea, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. In a similar way, phloem is made up of four elements, namely sieve cell, sieve tube and companion cell, and phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So I'll be back with some more interesting concepts of this chapter called Anatomy of Flowering Plants. Till then, goodbye and thank you.